Let me show you something. 33 weeks and 6 days. I'm 34 weeks pregnant. I don't know. Like, somehow felt like it was so much further away. How am I doing? I am feeling so pregnant. I'm nesting, like, I just am thinking of everything that needs to get done and that I want to do before baby comes. Part of me feels so ready for this baby to come already, but part of me feels like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm at that stage where it's like, I feel like she's pushing against my lungs all the time and my stomach. I can't breathe and I can't digest. It's so hard to get comfortable. I do have a lot of pain in my pelvis and my hips, which makes life with 2 other little kids challenging. Brain foggy, really slow, and very, very, very pregnant. 6 weeks to my due date, which I've never made it to my due date so far. I've always given birth a week early, but I don't know, we'll see. On Wednesday, I am full term, and today's Monday. A lot has been going on lately for me internally. I've been having a lot of contractions, and I mean, a lot of them are just plain old kind of Braxton Hicks that do feel very intense, but so, like, for example, last night I was woken up by several contractions that really felt like the real deal. Like, it's not only my belly hardening, it's like feels way more down in this area, you know, pulls, and it's that like ache here and in my lower back, and just feels like, oh yeah, this is what labor feels like. I am not alone recording this, as you can see. A big part of me feels like it could still take another several weeks because this has been happening for so long already. Not on the table. But then a part of me feels like, no, it could happen like any minute, because I always feel, you know, like depending on the activities that I do, like if I'm physically active or if I have sex or stuff like that, like it really triggers very real labor-like contractions for me. Now this one's just mama's. It has and continues to be a difficult pregnancy for me. I'm so excited to meet my baby girl and just so excited for things to kind of move on, but then there's also a part of me that just internally is not ready for things to just move on. And yeah, I am just realizing things are never going to be the same once she's here, which obviously I'm so excited for her to be here. But once she's here, it's never just going to be me and my boys anymore. All of the moments and the days and just the normal life as I know it, it's gonna change a lot soon, and a big part of me just feels not ready to quite let that go. Plus, I've been extremely busy with work lately. Like, I've just been so busy and I haven't been able to just slow down and enjoy this time. Yeah, and just today, somehow I'm just feeling really anxious and nervous. Somehow, I just feel this like kind of shakiness. I am feeling really nervous about birth and everything, even though I really haven't felt nervous at all up until this point. I have an extremely positive outlook on labor and giving birth. But lately, you know, just like last night, feeling the intensity of those contractions, which were extremely manageable to me and whatever, but then I'm just like, oh shit, like, yeah, that's what I need to go through, and it was enough to remind me of what labor feels like, and I'm just kind of feeling the jitters of all of that somehow. So I'm doing a lot of internal work, also just trying to connect with my current self as well as with my little girl, and going back to moments when I was about to experience a really extreme change in my life, and I felt these similar types of feelings of like, I'm excited for the future, but this feeling of dread and just feeling like I'm not ready for things to move on. And just in my mind's eye, just sitting with her, being with her, enjoying and savoring the moment, and that feels so healing to me on so many levels. And So I'm trying to do that, but then as well, just in my present life, I'm just like trying to sit. It is like around 3 a.m. and I've been having contractions since I went to bed around like 9:30 or 10. And they're like coming regularly, but they're just not strong. A big part of me feels like this could be kind of the right thing, but it's like it's just not progressing. And honestly, internally, I am just like somehow really nervous, and so like I can't go to sleep, but I also feel like I'm just too tense and nervous for anything to progress. So I've just been like laying there listening to podcasts and trying to read and trying to sleep and whatever, but now I'm hungry and I need a snack and whatever. So anyways, I just decided to get up and I'm gonna get myself a little snack, and I think I'm just gonna like see if movement helps and maybe fold some laundry because laundry needs to be folded. "38 weeks pregnant. Wowza. I obviously have not gone into labor yet, despite many nights of being awake with false labor, and it's been tough. While I'm peeling my orange, I just wanted to share a few thoughts that feel really valuable to me. As a little bit of a background story, in my last 2 pregnancies, I had kind of similar experiences to what's going on now. I always had, even though it was like way less intense than it's been this time, but I always had like some sort of symptom or something going on several weeks before I actually gave birth, but that made me think that it was going to happen soon. You know what I mean? So it was mentally very challenging for me. And if you've ever been in the stages of last pregnancy, you know, like just what a mind game it is and how difficult it can be, because it's literally like you're about to have this life-changing event, not to mention labor is literally like a frickin' marathon. And it's very taxing physically, and it's like this really, really intense big event that's about to happen at any moment. It could happen in several weeks, but it also might happen right now or tonight or tomorrow or whatever, but you just don't know when it's gonna happen. And it's just so hard to like do life. So anyways, my last 2 pregnancies, I really struggled in the last weeks leading up to giving birth because of all of these reasons. And this time around, I think partly consciously, but also a lot subconsciously, I told myself, that's not going to happen. I'm going to do things differently this time. And so I basically, like, I put giving birth and all of that stuff out of my mind and just kind of had in my mind, like, I'm just going to be pregnant forever kind of thing. Basically because I didn't want to experience the same difficulty that I experienced in my last pregnancies. Nonetheless, I have experienced great difficulty. It's definitely been different because part of the difficulty, sorry, I see my son outside. I mean, my husband is taking care of them, but he has some funny stuff in his hair. Part of the difficulty this time has been because I have not prepared myself well enough for labor and birth and for the fact that I'm actually gonna have a baby soon. And so when all of these labor contractions and everything was starting, I was having the most crazy intense anxiety. Sorry, I'm so distracted by my kids outside. What are they doing? Okay, focus. Yeah, I was having the most intense anxiety and everything because I just was not mentally prepared kind of thing. And so anyways, so that happened, but then I took a lot of time to mentally prepare and get myself there and get ready for labor and all that stuff because I thought it was going to happen like that night. But then it hasn't happened, and I'm like a week or 10 days later. Forgive my rambling. The point that I want to share with you came down to this. I was thinking about this whole thing one morning and I was like, darn it, I'm so upset because now I'm starting to have a lot of negative feelings and emotions around this whole birth, and I didn't want to have that this time, and I thought I wouldn't. I thought I could save myself from having that. And then I just had a moment where I was like, and that was my problem. Let me explain further. What I've learned in life is that the best way to avoid pain is to not try and avoid it, but to just accept that it's going to happen and learn how to tolerate and not try to escape it. And so I realize that when I say that, that sounds so kind of hopeless, like, oh, you just accept that pain is going to happen in life, and that's just kind of what's going on. My kids are now vacuuming inside, it sounds like, in case you can hear that. It's not meant to be taken that way. It's meant to be taken in a really empowering way. Back more at the beginning of my whole labor story, I did not want to be caught in this situation of having prepared myself so much mentally and be so ready for birth and be thinking that it's going to happen so soon, and then it takes longer and longer until it actually does happen. Because last time I had that and it was really painful and it really sucked and it was hard, and so I don't want that. I don't want to experience that pain again. So I'm just going to completely put everything out of my mind, and then the second that I'm having like what feels like real labor contractions, I'm freaking out and have like anxiety attack is what it felt like so often, and literally lost nights of sleep because I was just like so anxious and I just didn't feel ready somehow to actually have this baby. I avoided one type of pain, but I created another type of pain for myself. And I think this is just like a very, very specific example in my life right now. But I mean, you can look at my life, you can look at anybody's life, and you see the more I try and avoid this type of pain, I just create more pain for myself everywhere else that I go, kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. I think it probably does, because I think it's a very universal experience. And so for me, what that looks like right now, instead of just being like, okay, I felt this pain this way and I don't want that to happen, and so now I try and like avoid it everywhere, is to just be like, hey, this is just hard. Life is just hard. And to kind of settle into the fact of looking back over this whole pregnancy, it has been really hard, and I have so much compassion for myself because of that. And as soon as I am actually in active labor, which is like the thing that I'm like, if only this will happen, then I'll be happy. Labor is really, really hard. And so that's going to be really hard, and I'm going to experience a lot of pain then. And then as soon as the baby's here, that's going to be really hard, because taking care of a newborn and recovering postpartum and all of that stuff is hard. And so I just have this idea in my mind right now. If I can just get this one thing to happen in my life the way that I want it to, I won't experience pain. And that is such bullshit. Like, that is so not true. Life is just hard, and I am simply learning that life on this side of eternity probably will always be the hard mingled with the beautiful. And so I've just found so much peace for myself in this specific situation right now, but it is such a universal topic that I feel like anybody can apply to their life. So my lesson for today is, don't try to avoid pain. Just learn how to tolerate it. I don't know how to say that in a more hopeful sounding way. Pain doesn't have to take away from the beauty of life. So that's it. And with that said, I am also so done with being pregnant today. And I just want to have this baby. So I'm trying out the miles circuit. Okay, actually my 30 minutes are up. I was up last night again with contractions, and I was this close to calling my midwife and waking up my husband and all that stuff, but I was like, oh no, I'll just give it a little bit more time. And I did, and then my contractions just faded away. So yeah, this is like 38 weeks plus 1 day. I'm going to go do my second phase of the mile circuit and see if that helps. I am officially more pregnant than I've ever been before. So far, I've given birth both times on like 39 weeks exactly, like 39 weeks 1 day. And today I am 39 weeks 2 days. So in some ways not surprised, because it's like, okay, yeah, whatever, anything can happen. But at the same time, I'm also really like, I definitely did not think that I would still be pregnant at this point. So yeah, been having a lot of ups and downs. A couple of days I actually had a panic attack, which was not cool. And I'm kind of, trying to process through a lot. I'm strangely feeling okay about it. Like at first I was feeling almost like I could have a panic attack thinking about the fact that I had one, or thinking about the fact that like I could again, or what if things get really hard again, and am I like, does this mean I'm getting postpartum depression and all of that stuff. But I feel really calm about it now. Looking back, I feel like I can really understand why it happened and kind of pull apart the different pieces of it. And I feel like I have lots of tools in my tool belt how to deal with stuff like that. So anyways, just trying to like live life and just kind of let go of everything and just let it happen when it happens. And baby girl will come when she's ready, or when my body's ready, or definitely did not expect it to take this long. I think it might be happening. Unless if it suddenly stops again. But I've been having them like quite intense, quite consistently for a while now, so